Good morning from the office. I'm your host, BKP. This is North Georgia's only live online morning show. Good morning from the office, where we report the news. We don't create the news. That's right. You know, nothing worse than starting a fire and then running back to get the fire trucks to put it out. That we do not do here at Good Morning from the Office, and we refuse to do at FetcherNews.com. Anyhow, how are you today? I'm doing great. It's Wednesday morning. I have Carlene Ferguson coming in. You haven't seen her in a while. You're wondering, hey, what happened to Carlene? Carlene's going to come in at 8:30. We're going to talk Advocare at 8:30, how that's going for me, your host. I've been doing that for a couple months. So we're going to talk to her about that. She's been out and about doing some things. That's at 8:30 this morning. We're going to have her in here. I have my Spark, as you would know, in my Tupelo tea. So Tom, if you're out there, I seen Tom last night. I was a little nervous. I seen Tom and Donna. I was like, will I get in trouble if I use my Tupelo teacup to put Spark in? I'll have to check that out. Anyhow, Tupelo tea. Can't wait to get to the shops of Sycamore. Oh, by the way, they don't have to tear half the back end off of Sycamore Crossing now. After last night's Blue Ridge City Council meeting, they got the variance. They don't have to tear. You know, Jane Whaley was thinking that she was going to have to go like in her bedroom and have that outdoor view where the wall was just gone because they were going to make her tear it off. But anyhow, I was looking at something, a text message. I shouldn't look at text messages during the show, Lonnie, because I have sometimes a problem paying attention.
Shiny objects.
Huh?
Shiny objects.
Shiny objects.
Where is your shiny object ball?
I don't know. Where is that? Anyhow, let's get serious here. Okay, so Sycamore Crossing, we're going to talk about that. Now, if you have tuned in this morning for a full report on Blue Ridge, we're not going to let you down on that. So what we have done is we're going to have our opening monologue. We've got some things we're going to go over. Trump is coming to Atlanta this morning, today, the Fox Theater. We're going to talk about that. Got the Constitution right here, just in case we need it, just in case we need the Constitution. You know, the president has one in the Oval Office, says, break glass in case of emergency. We want to let you know the glass is still intact. That was good, right, Lonnie? That was good stuff. That's so good. Let's say it again. The President of the United States has a Constitution in the Oval Office, and it's like got that emergency around it, and it says, break glass in case of emergency. We would like to let you know after close to 8 years, the glass is still intact, okay? He has not broken the glass to get the Constitution out one time. You know, let's not let that pesky Constitution stand in Obama's way. Anyhow, or Hillary's, because she's not for sure if the Second Amendment, you know what it really says, if it is a constitutional right. And then you got the guys that say it's sporting rifles. I seen in the Constitution, the Second Amendment. This is Lonnie's fault for me getting sidetracked. Let's see, the Second Amendment. Let's see, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of people to bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, I wrote in sporting rifles. I think we should put sporting rifles. Type that in the Constitution, because that's what they're calling for. Anyhow, let me get past that. But for you folks out there that want to hear a full report on Blue Ridge, the city of Blue Ridge, we went home last night, your host here, never sleep. I didn't sleep last night, Lonnie. Did you sleep? I don't want to hear it. Don't even want to know the answer. Okay, anyhow, I went home last night, and I got to thinking, okay, Gerard and Davis came up to the city of Blue Ridge, and they gave this report, and then he shot out of there. I mean, a cannon could not have gotten Ken Gerard out that door in his BMW, Mercedes. Out. It was something of that nature, I bet. If you look, it couldn't have got him out of there faster in the car and gone. I mean, that was a real take the money and run kind of report. I'm serious, man. Out the door, okay? So Ken Gerard comes up for 20 minutes and says, look, I've taken almost $27,000 of your money. I want to come up here and say thank you. I'm going to look out in the audience and pretend like this report is for them because, you know, they are the citizens. And let's always make them think it's about them because we're the government and we're the, you know, an attorney. I have to tell you, if you're in law school today, the best place to get a job is in Fannin County. I mean, the attorney, if you take I know this is going to be, you are going to throw things at your computer screen TV at me because you're going to say, really, really? I'm telling you what, if we took the money, you know, every day I go on there and somebody's wanting to feed Fannin, okay? They want to feed Fannin. I'm getting sidetracked, but this is how I feel. You know, we want to feed Fannin because, my God, the kids would all starve to death in Fannin County if we didn't have, you know, feed Fannin and, you know, poor little kids in Fannin County, which, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not making fun of that or light of that. But let's say this. If you would have taken just the wasted money. Now, not all money's wasted on attorneys. I know some of you think a dollar to an attorney is, you know, you could help a child starving for the price of a cup of coffee before you send an attorney $1. Now, I didn't mean that. I got attorneys in the family, but I'm not going to. Okay, feed Fannin. Do you know how much money we could have sent to feed Fannin?
Just while you're on the subject of attorneys and dissing attorneys.
Yeah, I didn't diss attorneys. Oh, no, I did not. I have an attorney friend. One, no plural. Hurry, Lonnie. This is an important show this morning.
What do you call 1,000 attorneys at the bottom of the ocean?
I don't know.
A good start.
Lonnie, that was mean. That was Lonnie, folks. That was not me. That was not necessarily the views of your host, BKP. No, it wasn't. That was Lonnie. He went rogue on that. All by himself. I want to throw him out there, okay? Anyhow. Hey, listen, folks, he's already said if they come in because we're on a watch list of some of the things I say, he's going to tell them that he didn't have nothing to do with typing it on the internet. So, last night, you could feed Fannin. You take the wasted, corrupted, throw it away money that's been spent on the county attorney, city attorney, attorney for this, attorney for that, and you could feed Fannin. I'm telling you what, you could sure as heck have a nice dinner. But anyhow, we're going to have a full report at 9 o'clock. I promise you, I got 2 videos. I am going to show you the video of who's responsible for the investigation, who wasted the money for the investigation. We're going to show you 2 videos you do not want to miss. So to make sure we do a very extensive Blue Ridge City Council story, it's at 9 o'clock. So tell your friends, make sure they're tuned in at 9 this morning, and I promise we won't get off track. We'll do it at 9 o'clock. We may even have located a video of a meeting of the Fannin cartel. They've even named themselves something. They have a name, everything. We may have located a meeting video of the Fannin cartel. 9 o'clock, folks. Okay, I want to know from you. Because, look, you're going to hear, we're going to do from 10 to 11. I'm here 3 hours a day, folks, okay? 3 hours. I'm here from 8 to 11 o'clock. So, we're going to do an extensive look into the EU as much as I possibly can. I get home at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock from Fannin County. Well, by the time I get home and get in bed, it's 11 o'clock, Fannin County, up there, Blue Ridge City Council, 3 hours from 4 hours maybe, almost 10 o'clock or whatever it was, 29 items. Anyhow, we're going to do an extensive, deep look into the British, United Kingdom, the Brexit of the EU. United Kingdom may leave the EU. There's a big vote next week. What's that got to do with Donald Trump? What's that got to do with the Bilderbergs? What that's got to do with the IMF? What does that have to do with anything? I'm telling you right now, it is an international world. See, Donald Trump is not a globalist. We'll talk about that later, okay? AR-15. Now, we're going to hear from Hillary Clinton, which is running with Barack Obama. I do not know who she will pick as her running mate, but as of today, she is Obama's running mate. Exactly, folks. She is Barack Obama's running mate. Okay? Period. Barack Obama writes the narrative of the day for them. She repeats it, or she goes out first and then he gives it, but don't get confused. Hillary Clinton at this time is Barack Obama's running mate. Okay? Now, she met with Bernie Sanders last night. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to come out today, or they're going to wait for the convention to have that major, Bernie speech. They may still come out, but they'll have the major Bernie speech. Bernie's going to have a major speech on the floor of the convention, but anyhow, we'll get to that. AR-15s, assault rifles. What do you think? What do you think? AR-15 assault rifles. What do you think? Now, they want the media, be careful out here, okay? Because we've already seen the government's corrupt. I know I broke the news to you this morning. The government is absolutely corrupt. We've seen a corrupt IRS that targeted patriots in this country. Now, the words were patriot, Tea Party, liberty. I mean, there was all the classic words, freedom of all words, but the IRS targeted groups, much like us on this show. Tea Party groups all across this country, so on and so forth. The IRS, we've already seen the target, okay? They were put on a list, okay? The government, if you don't think Hillary Clinton has put together a detailed watch list of radical right, the government has put us on a radical right watch list. If I was to say, I think the government taking land is against the Constitution. Okay, if I was to say out west, if you were to look in the last 8 years just alone of how much land in this country that the government has confiscated and taken over, okay, and taken control of in this country unconstitutionally, I probably just made a list, okay? So the media is going to tell you the joke of the day. This is the joke of the day. I could be stopped from air travel because I'm on a watch list, but that does not stop me. I could be stopped boarding a plane because I've made a terrorist watch list, but that does not stop me from buying an assault weapon. Okay, now that is the rational, sensible, reasonable people. I'm telling you, Hillary is they're going to, Donald Trump's up there, make America great. He's having rallies. He's getting excited. He's emotional. Hillary Clinton's going to stay right here, level, and they're going to say, this is how rational people, this is how reasonable people, thoughtful people, this is how we respond. We take a deep breath and look at what's best, okay? So they're going to tell you that assault rifles have to go because reasonable and rational people are the problem, that if you're not reasonable and rational, AR-15s have to go. You have to. You're just out there. You should be on a watch list. Folks, be careful of the watch list, because that's what they're going to try to sell us, that there should be some kind of rational gun control. I don't see it in the Constitution, all right? I don't see it at all. Be careful of the watch list. They're going to want you to know on the watch list, okay? Government is setting the narrative, okay? Setting the narrative. Now, if you look up narrative, let me stay with this, okay? If you look up narrative, okay, a narrative or story is any report of connected events, real or imaginary, presented in a sequence of written or spoken words and or still or moving images, okay? Real or imaginary. The government, I'm here to report to you this morning, is setting up an imaginative, corrupt narrative, okay? Dylan Roof, okay, immediately what happens, okay? Dylan Roof had a picture of him and a Confederate flag, and it happened in the South. So they created a narrative, and they had the United States of Cowards. It's not the House of Representatives. It's the House of Cowards. Well, wait a minute. If they're the House of Representatives and you're calling them the House of Cowards, they are cowards and we are cowards. Sorry, folks, we're cowards. Because every time we start getting passionate of what we believe in, and every time we start really focusing on what the problem is, we allow the narrative of the government, the corrupt government, and we allow certain Republicans to come out and say, this is not who we are as a people, and condemn words that somebody says, and say they're never going to endorse and support. We become the cowards. They are a house of cowards up there. They are afraid of everything about the world government, which you don't understand that we're in, that defies our Constitution. They will not support it. Anyhow, moving on. Trump is under attack. You better get out there and get to work and not stop. I am going to say this could be the very last chance or opportunity you have to save this country. Hillary Clinton will complete the collapse of the United States of America, will complete it. Her election is a guarantee that we complete our collapse as a sovereign nation, or what we have left of. I'm not going to go out there. I'm going to say things that you're going to say, wait a minute, you need to explain. I don't have time. Fresh off the Bilderberg weekend, it is not a coincidence, that all the national media on Monday morning, even in some ways Fox News, have turned the direction against Donald Trump. Now remember, Trump was on the agenda at their meeting. So was the EU, okay? And the United Kingdom may be voting to exit the EU. Trust me, they have to stop Trump. The IMF, okay? We'll talk about that in our 10 to 11 o'clock hour. The IMF, Yellen, the Federal Reserve, they have to stop Trump. This morning on MSNBC, they dedicated 30 full minutes this morning, Morning Joe, of Trump is now down 12 points in the polls to Hillary, that senators and representatives need to run away from Donald Trump. They need to come out and say they will not endorse or support Trump unless he says this, this, and this, unless that Trump lets them be in charge. You need to understand, Trump did not get where he's at with the media on his side. He did not get where he's at with the Republicans on his side, the establishment. He got to where he's at as the presumptive nominee of the Republican Party strictly on you, the people, we, the people, that came out in full support. So we won't have time to do this morning, but the Republican numbers of votes for him are way up. Democrat votes are down, and they're manipulating polls right now to make it look like Trump does not stand a chance. Because, see, the Bilderbergs, the IMF, the world government did not get out in front of the EU situation with Great Britain fast enough. So they've decided they got to get out in front of this Donald Trump thing ASAP. So the full attack is on. You better be ready. The full attack is on. Don't believe what these people are telling you, all right? You're going to have to find shows like this one, okay? There's other shows, but shows like this one, you're going to, and it's not Eric Erickson, okay, and so on and so forth. You're going to have to find websites. You're going to have to find places that you can trust the information you're getting, and you need to make sure you share that truth with your friends, okay? Anyhow, radical Islam angered the president. It just absolutely angered the president, okay? This morning on Morning Joe, okay, they're talking and they are up in arms that Donald Trump has come this close, they said, to actually accusing the President of the United States of an act of treason. I mean, that was the talk. It's unthinkable how we could look at the President of the United States, okay, and talk this close of an act of treason. I mean, they were like, how can Donald Trump do that? It's the unthinkable. Folks, Donald Trump will be in Atlanta today. If you're going to the rally, the Donald Trump rally at the Fox Theater downtown, please let me know later today. I'd like to talk to you about it. But anyhow, U.S. Code 2381 on treason says, whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, gives them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason and shall suffer death or shall be imprisoned not less than 5 years and fined under the title, but not less than $10,000, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. Folks, I think what Barack Obama has done. First of all, we know out here. See, we don't need a Harvard education. We don't need a Yale. We don't need Columbia. We don't even need a University of Phoenix education online. We don't need one of those educations that come from one of Bill Clinton's universities, even Trump University. We don't, Bill Clinton, he was the chancellor and raked in millions and millions of dollars in a university scandal, but nobody wants to talk about that. But anyhow, we don't need that this morning to understand that if you are going to do something, you have to identify the enemy. You have to. Now, we're getting attacked this morning, you and I, because the President of the United States has shown more passion against Donald Trump. You and I are the problem, absolutely, because we want to know he's on. We want to know that somebody's on our side. If you go into a battle, you want to look over and you want to know that somebody's on your side. Hey, you on my side? You want to know that. This is a feeling that, hey, are you on my side? So number one, we'd like to know the president's on our side. Now, President Obama, as angry as you may get, you have to understand, there's not thousands, there's millions on top of millions of people in the United States that are not clear that you're on our side. I mean, if you would just come out one time and give us the impression, not stand in the Rose Garden with a traitor, with the family of a traitor, okay? If you would just one time give us the impression you are on our side and that you identify the enemy, okay? Maybe we can relax. But we're not for sure you're on our side. And I'm not for sure the actions you've taken over the past 8 years with the creation of ISIS and the lady that's running for president of the United States is not an act of treason. I said it, Donald Trump doesn't have to. I think the other day when he called for your resignation, I don't see a big problem with that. Now, they're all excited, and Hillary's not concerned. She told you she's not concerned. Folks, these people are corrupt. Now, I'm not going to take the FBI down the road, but the FBI, Comey's head is spinning off because he don't know how to address this, because he has a president that will not let him identify the problem. All the FBI is independent of the president of the United States. Okay, all right, let's keep thinking that one, all right? We're not allowed to identify the problem. We're not allowed to identify the people. We're not allowed to interrogate the people. We're not allowed to engage the people. We're not allowed to say Muslim. We're not allowed to say radical Islamic terrorism. We're not allowed to say Islamic period is radical and believes in terrorism because you're supposed to kill thy infidel. We're not allowed to do any of that. And FBI is trying to figure out, how the hell do we approach this? Enemy. It's an enemy. And yesterday, the president goes after the Republicans. He goes after, and the Republicans will fall. Not Donald Trump, but the Republicans will fall. They will fall one by one. Led by Lindsey Graham. Can you not love the news networks leading with Lindsey Graham? Just got back. This idiot just got back from the Bilderberg meeting. He was on the guest list, okay? And he is going to be the standard bearer for the hate speech of the Republican Party, what is and what isn't, and what's politically correct, and who we are as a people. Somebody that could not even get 1%, okay, on the election. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Whoever owing allegiance, now keep this in mind, whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them and adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason. Okay? Code 2381 is treason. So, just saying. Now, a couple other things. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Just a couple other things. Okay, Hillary and Obama are running together. Obama's approval ratings are up to 55%. Interesting. Okay, United States House of Cowards. Washington Post has 20 people looking at Donald Trump. Do not buy into the narrative of the corruption of the government. Do not buy in, okay, to Donald Trump telling the Washington Post they cannot cover him and pull their press credentials. 20 are after him. They have publicly said they're after him. The owner of the Washington Post says they're after him. Don't buy into the narrative that the Washington Post had their press credentials pulled by Donald Trump and he's trying to control all the media outlets. Don't buy into it. Now, I'm going to say one more thing before we go to break. Don't forget, when Dylan Roof massacred these people in South Carolina, the government, your government, immediately created a Confederate flag narrative. They are creating that now with this massacre in Miami. Now, I am telling you, they can't let it just go alone that a radical Islamic terrorist that traveled abroad to Saudi Arabia, we see all this, they can't just let that go, because that would verify the Quran saying that, Islamic Muslims feel that gays should be killed. Okay, that's pretty graphic, but that's the bottom line. I've read it. I've read the passages. Okay, that would validate that. So they got to call it homegrown terrorism. It's homegrown. It's you and I. It's our fault. Let me tell you what homegrown is, people. It's a damn tomato, okay? So homegrown terrorism is what they have to bring the narrative to. It's homegrown. It's our fault. We did it right here in the United States. It's homegrown. I'm going to tell you something. If that's what we're growing in the garden, there's a whole, you go say, I'm simplifying this, but there's a such thing. When you're growing something in the garden, you get the weeds out of the way, okay? So I don't want to hear homegrown, but that's the narrative. And second, they're alleging he was gay. Really? Gay Muslim? Okay. Let me remind you of something before I go to break. Okay? The United States creates the narratives, and they want you to believe certain things, your government, and you need to be clear on who the enemy is, and you don't need a president of the United States that gets upset just because we want to identify the enemy. And when you go into battle, you want to know if somebody's on your side. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Now, when I get back, I'm going to be joined here for about 25 minutes with a dear friend that I haven't seen in 3 or 4 weeks. We have a lot of catching up to do, okay? But we're going to talk about AdvoCare, okay? Health, fitness, mental health. Can't you tell my mental health is great, Lonnie? Can't you tell? Lonnie can tell. My mental health is way up there, way up there.
Way up there in the clouds.
Okay, there you go. But all the above, things are great, right? So we're going to talk about AdvoCare, and I want to share it with you. And I want to do a little more. Every time I talk with Carlene Ferguson in the past, we've talked about several things, but I want to talk a little bit about AdvoCare, the quality products, the quality company, the quality support, and how you can look and feel this great. All right, Lonnie, is that a commercial? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't only use the products. I bought the company. No, I didn't really. I didn't, folks. I didn't. But it was a commercial. I'm going to get out of here. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. North Georgia's only live online morning show. Tell all your friends, 9 o'clock sharp, we are going to do an extensive City of Blue Ridge story. And then after that, we're going to get into some national issues you're going to want to stay tuned for. And I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. Lonnie, take us to break.